What's up? We're about to go to Rostov, or Stage 1 of the 2025 season of RDS Open. We'll be entering the 200SX that's carried over from last year. The color is different, but essentially it's the same car. We're also bringing a bunch of spare suspension arms and steering knuckles with us, all because we're going to be slamming into walls. In this episode, tore up my entire rear end.
Unnecessary parts?
Indeed. And he said I couldn't shed 50 kilos. There you go. Are we gonna give away the most recent secret? Are you being serious? For the final battle, we should get even closer. All right. We're running 3 power steering pumps for a BMW, but they're mounted up front. If we want the weight to be in the rear, they need to be relocated. And that's exactly what I'm up to currently. Trying to sort the brackets for mounting everything right here, in this area. Most likely they'll be mounted in this spot, but we'll install and plumb them, and that's it, it'll be off to the races. We're running out of time. Ideally, we needed more practice before the first event, but since we have sunny and snowy weather, we're working on the car instead. And from there, it's straight to Rostov. We'll still post some good results.
Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been testing so much, all these wrestlers nice.
Right, so we're getting ready to set course for Stage 1 in Rostov. And this is gonna be the first RDS Open event of the year. Winter Cup aside. We've prepared all of our spare parts. Later today, we'll be loading them into our Iveco support truck. We've been doing some work on the SX, replacing the old dashboard with a sick-looking carbon fiber one. Also, we're relocating the power steering system to the rear of the car, but we already told you about that yesterday. Will that do? Thank you, bye. It's been off for a while. Yeah. It's out. I'm filming, I'm the camera guy. That's the bracket. I was filming for an entire minute. Oh, there's my face. I'm out. Did that make for a good shot?
Nah, it's total garbage.
Artyom, do you want me to keep looking? Nothing dripping out yet. What a lovely pose to be in. Nothing dripping out so far. What are you looking for, Ilya? I was told to have a look. Screw this. I'm out of here.
What are you up to, Artyom?
Having a f***ing breakdown.
Do we have everything ready for the trip?
Of course. Made some sandwiches, boiled some chicken. We're fully prepared.
That's all that matters.
You mean the chicken? What sort of trip would it be without chicken?
Woke up today, smile on my face, may not go my way, still got my face, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Running our race, just that I pace. Made some mistakes, but learned a few things, so I'll be okay.
Practice day. Practice has been going fan-fucking-tastically. Alex has gotten some practice, so have I, and even Anatoly has practiced pitching a tent. The reason for that being that we weren't letting him out until the support truck had been unloaded. He really wanted to head out right away, but Alex and I both know that when we start driving as soon as we get there, we never put the tents up or set up any of the equipment that we need to function until really late in the evening. We decided to bring a tried and tested car to the first event, which is a component of my strategy. The car is in good working condition, there were no surprises during inspection. Sort the headlights and go back to the inspection bay. What, you can't have just one? You need both. What's going on? Somebody deserves an ass whooping. Who, though? Apparently nobody touched them.
What's wrong with the headlights?
Everything is disconnected. Then Anatoly went out to test that lovely triple power steering pump setup. smoke finding its way into the cabin. The fuck? I'll just cover them with some tape, okay? Covering up the smoking hole is giving me flashbacks. It so happened that we covered the holes through which it was escaping, so the smoke filled the cabin and just stayed there.
Have you covered all of it?
Looking good. If tape isn't helping, then you haven't used enough of it. What's up? It's nice to see you. Talk to me. Don't need to tell me anything about yourself. There's nothing new to learn there. Have you done anything to your car? Artyom, do you have anything to say about the car? Are we gonna give away the most recent secret? We're running 3 power steering pumps. Are you being serious? Totally, they're right here. We used to have 2 in the front. The third one wouldn't fit, and so we moved all of them to this area onto the bash bar. I actually want to try and feel the steering. Well, it is. The steering has become lighter, it's definitely over-assisted. But at least it's not binding. I see. But 3 pumps, man. In my experience, one solution is you install 1 conventional mechanical power steering pump. Maybe use one for a KAMAZ truck? You got the right idea. Anyway, 1 conventional plus 1 electric pump and everything works. 2 electric pumps almost work, but not quite. I like to steer quickly, so you're running 3 electric pumps. Exactly. You must be the first person in the world to have... I couldn't find anything online. Amazing. My guess is the engineers would reprimand the driver and tell him it's extra weight. I mean, other engineers are going to laugh at him and call him an idiot for installing 3 pumps. Holy shit, man. I'd see you around. We made it out here, fired up the car, had a go. Had another go. Then adjusted the sway bars, slightly tweaked the suspension tuning, added a tiny bit of caster, and we're off again. Usually as soon as we make it, we're working with the caster, camber, the toe angle, front to rear, front to rear. But this time we went out, then made some adjustments, went out again, enjoyed it, and that's about it. Also, I don't even want to say this out loud, we played a bit of touch butt with Fyodor Vorobyov. With his car, of course.
Removing unnecessary parts?
Indeed. And he said I couldn't shed 50 kilos. There you go. We weren't able to get it to 1250, really? I'll do it. No, you won't. We have a wager? I'll bet you 5,000 rubles.
Looks like you won the bet.
I love me stacks. Sorry, bro. Took out half of my ass end. I mean, I don't think I made any mistakes. I was consistent, no delays. You must have found a patch with more grip. I miscalculated the transition. And we're accelerating a tad faster. I must have been narrow next to the wall. Yeah, you were way too narrow. I went that way and I was like, but then I was good. Yeah, from there you were good. I messed up in that spot and my initiation was too narrow. I even had to proactively pull my car out. Gotcha. You were carrying quite a lot of pace, so that was all good. Yeah, overall you got a fast car. Earlier I had a run with Vage and he was quite a bit slower. But overall, I mean, tore up my entire rear end. Sorry about that, but that was like a proper battle, eh? Yeah, it was good. For the final battle, we should get even closer. Alright? First attempt at qualifying. Next up is a guy who is known for his super aggressive driving style. It is Anatoly Sherbak himself. Yet another driver who I am delighted to see in the RDS Open series. One interesting tidbit here is that his car is now running 3 power steering pumps. Well, Anatoly is known for building and setting up his cars around the front wheels. He likes to have plenty of grip at the front end, which he must have carried over from his past as an autocross racer, when he used to drive front-wheel drive cars that you also control solely using the front wheels. Anyway, we are now watching the first qualifying attempt of Stage 1 of RDS Open. And we see Anatoly Sherbak missing touch and go 4. But he keeps on going, and now he seems to be frozen in time, right until the moment he transitions. So that was actually a fairly slow section of the course. There's another transition, and now he needs to precisely aim his front left wheel for inner touch and go 6, which Anatoly pulls off superbly, and now he is maintaining a great line while staying close to the white markings. Now Anatoly slightly misses the mark with his angle, though he did correct his mistake right away. In the final transition, Anatoly uses the handbrake to stabilize his car while aiming it for the last remaining clips. And with that, his 200SX S14 crosses the finish line. So I only missed touch and go 4. Yeah, but overall well done. You were at red line ripping through. Maybe try using third in that spot? For me to make it. Go for it. Yeah, I'm gonna try third. And then downshift to second. Time for you to head out? What place am I in? I don't know, but your score is 85. Pretty good. A 90-point run would be awesome. 90+ points would be great. I actually believe he can pull it off. We didn't change the pressure, same figure as before. It's at 1. He missed touch and go 4 back there, which cost him 4 points. He just didn't have the gearing to make it. So he's gonna try using third. So this run will be his last then? He is pretty excited. You can see it in his eyes. The fire. Full send. Second attempt at qualifying. Alright, Anatoly Sherbak is at the starting line, and his Nissan 200SX S14 is off. There he is accelerating, and this driver who is from Moscow has a few victories under his belt in RDS Europe, which has recently been renamed and is now proudly known as RDS Open, which is the Open Championship of the Russian Drift Series. We are now watching Anatoly Sherbak navigating the sweeper with some minor corrections to his angle, it would seem. But they are literally impossible to avoid in these sorts of conditions. It's pretty much impossible to be consistent in these conditions. I mean, in theory you probably can, you'll just be going really slow. Your tires are going to be slippery and you'll have no grip whatsoever. But that is not the case here with Anatoly Sherbak. On the contrary, he is completely on point. Yes, he did step on the brakes with his left foot, but he did so masterfully in order to hit touch and go 7/4. With this allowing him to maintain a wide line, even in that dry area where there's a bit of traction. We don't know for sure whether a wheel was off in that spot, and he does a 360 to celebrate his super successful, well, that's even a 540 actually. So I did use third gear, and how'd that go? It was good. I was on anti-lag. Told ya. I tried it during the warm-up, and in third gear, the anti-lag pushed me through the hairpin. So I already knew that it'd navigate the hairpin. Great. How are you feeling, though? I'm alright. Fuck yeah, that's what we came out here for. The intake air temperature reading was all over the place, though. Shit, awesome. We came out here for a good time, after all. It's a new day, where there will be tandem drifting. Yesterday we successfully qualified. Anatoly ended up in third place. We passed the top 32 via bye run, but then so did everybody else, because there were 21 drivers in the running initially and there are 15 who are still left standing. But we transitioned from the top 32 to the top 16 stage with no contest. And in the top 16 we're facing Dmitry Dobrovolsky himself. He scored 60 points in qualifying, and hopefully Anatoly is cautious when racing him, but tenacious nonetheless. I said to him, if you want to hit him, then go all the way. Because there will be no turning back, might as well go out with a bang. Now, in all seriousness, taps are against the rules. These are all jokes. But we're ready to head out for some quality tandem drifting. I don't see anyone out there. We're still waiting for... Oh, wait, now I do. Anyway, for a bye run... Oh, it's a bye run. By Anatoly Sherbak, yeah, unfortunately, Dmitry Dobrovolsky had to retire. He was experiencing some technical issues today during practice. We're in the top 8, give me 5.
You can't tell me anything, I mean anything, that's for sure. I already know, I know my identity from the go.
This will be difficult for both drivers, but in different ways. Anatoly Sherbak will likely have trouble following, while Ilya Kliukin will also have a hard chase. Yeah, trouble with the same position, but for different reasons. One will have trouble keeping up, the other with not leaning on his opponent, and there's the green light. The two cars have drastically different horsepower figures, but let's have a look. That's a dramatic initiation. Ilya Kliukin is trying to not let his fast opponent get away, and he seems to be sticking with him so far. It's still early in the race, they pass touch-and-go 3, and the gap between the two cars is increasing. Anatoly Sherbak hit the gas too early, it would seem, but then he realized he should slow down. He's on throttle once again, and this obviously wasn't a problem for Ilya Kliukin with how far behind he is. The touch-and-go 5 bend, Ilya Kliukin is slightly out of step at touch-and-go 6, but the two cars are getting closer together while they're passing touch-and-goes 7/1, 2, 3, and 4. Now they're at touch-and-go 8, that's the final transition, touch-and-go 9. Ilya Kliukin is trying hard and is even somewhat able to keep up with a fast and aggressive opponent. Bravo, Ilya! And props to Anatoly. But now let's watch the second run. Anatoly Sherbak falls slightly behind his opponent, but immediately after initiation, he puts the pressure on the BMW E36 in his S14. The 200SX is all over the Beamer. Anatoly Sherbak is following Ilya Kliukin as if he were his shadow, and Ilya is true to his form, driving carefully, precisely, and predictably in the lead position. Anatoly Sherbak just had to do a bit of active footwork. He had to light his tires up a little bit to avoid catching up with the lead car too violently. That said, Anatoly Sherbak continues to stick super close to Ilya Kliukin. And so just like during the first round, the follow driver is performing very well in his respective role. The leader is also doing a fantastic job. Props to both drivers, well done. The judges' scorecards favor Anatoly Sherbak. That was intense, eh? I had a good time out there. As you should. All eyes on the track, E92 versus S14 200SX, Yekaterinburg versus Moscow. Like you said, BMW versus not a BMW, right? And here we go, we're watching the two most aggressive drivers of the entire event go at it. Anatoly Sherbak lets Sergei Korneyev go a bit during initiation, but then he catches up and stays next to him. Sergei Korneyev is going wide, Anatoly is even wider, they don't appear to have hit the wall. That's good, here both drivers need to get on throttle at the right moment. He straightens out, Anatoly Sherbak. Sergei Korneyev needs to see this run through to the very end while earning points, which he seems to be doing so far, though he did miss the inner touch-and-go, and at least one of his wheels just went off, though that doesn't really matter anymore. Anatoly Sherbak, for the sake of the spectators, is desperately trying to catch up with his opponent, to at least near the end make this a somewhat close tandem. But he fails to do so, there's just too much of a gap between the two cars. He is way too far behind. Oh, it looks like one of his wheels unseated. Yep, there it is. Playing around with the tire pressures will do that to you. Anatoly Sherbak calls for a 5-minute competition timeout to replace his rear wheels. And here we go, Anatoly Sherbak in the lead with Sergei Korneyev following. The two cars accelerate, and Sergei Korneyev is playing it safe with his initiation. He's keeping his distance, though so far this hasn't been an inactive chase. Anatoly Sherbak proceeds towards touch-and-go 4, Sergei Korneyev closes the gap. He's closing in on him, both drivers do a good job with the hairpin as long as Sergei doesn't get lost in the smoke, which he doesn't, and yum. Just like you promised, Evgeny, Sergei Korneyev is following a... Whoa, no need to fall out of step like that. Meanwhile, Anatoly Sherbak allows at least one wheel to hit the no-go and to go off the course. From there, he follows the wide line while producing a ton of smoke. There's the final transition, touch-and-go 10, and once again, Anatoly Sherbak allows a wheel to go off, while Sergei Korneyev follows at a moderate distance. Isn't that amazing? Anatoly Sherbak will battle with Alexei Bakhvalov for the third-place trophy. Again, that piece of shit tire is causing me issues, man. Anatoly, we made our call. Unfortunately, that's the outcome. Didn't hit a curb. Don't be too upset, dude. God damn it. I mean, you got your run in, right? You did. Now it's going to be a battle for third place, no sweat. Who's my opponent? The blue BMW. Switch the engine off, let's fill you up. Tire pressure? What do you mean time is up? We haven't changed his wheels yet. He literally just came back from the track. We need to replace the wheels. I mean, what the hell?
Hold on.
It's gonna be the battle for third.
Right?
For next.
Yes?
Well,
But then you're up.
how do you want me to change the wheels?
Oh.
Swap the wheels, fill the tank, I mean, come on. Expedite. Alex, hurry up, we're running very late. Car going down. Be swift like the wind, Anatoly. Alright, so Anatoly Sherbak will be the first violin in this ensemble, in this duet, rather. The two cars accelerate down parallel tracks. The leader moves to the right, and the round begins. Anatoly Sherbak sweeping through the curve. Alexei Bakhvalov closely following in the chase. Falling slightly behind right after the decel. Alexei just needs to avoid the same mistake he keeps making in this area, which he seemingly does, though his line was a bit too narrow. He's going to have trouble staying close to Anatoly Sherbak. Wait, he's actually keeping up. With Anatoly Sherbak moving too far left relative to the edge of the course, winding up in the middle. The two followed slightly different lines in that spot, but Alexei Bakhvalov is still able to closely follow. But one of his wheels goes off, though Alexei is still sticking close to Anatoly Sherbak, and the two cross the line. Alex, open the door. You did fucking fantastic, man. Great job. You were almost perfect. But then he was really close to you. Should I go full send? It's the last run of the day. Might as well show us what you got. Alright, 3 red lights and 1 green, and off they go. This time Alexei Bakhvalov is leading with Anatoly Sherbak following. Alexei initiates in pretty dramatic fashion. Meanwhile, Anatoly Sherbak is not letting his opponent pull away even slightly, following like a shadow while avoiding getting lost in the smoke. Alexei's line is way too wide, but Anatoly does not follow suit, and now they're in a pickle. Anatoly Sherbak almost passes Alexei Bakhvalov and blocks the leader's transition. Though Alex keeps right on going, props to him. From there they transition in step, bits of bumper flying all around the racetrack. Anatoly slightly falls behind and then catches up once again with Alexei, and that was actually pretty nerve-wracking. Anatoly Sherbak closely mirroring his opponent's transition, the final curve, and there's the finish line. And I have to say, that was very unnerving. Anatoly Sherbak receives the bronze medal for Stage 1 of RDS Open 2025 in the Pro Drivers category. Fucking brilliant. How do you think you've done? 3rd place. Wait, how? Because you won. But I tapped him. But you didn't straighten out? He went off? And it was his fault you were in that position. So he was going too slow? Yep. And they decided it was his fault. Yes. You won hands down. Yeah, I didn't expect him to slow down. Well, you were going a bit narrow, so you weren't totally without fault. Should have ridden the handbrake harder. Yeah, well, you were a bit too... Yeah, I fumbled that part. Chill out, dude. You did an amazing job. If you didn't push him, you would have lost, dude. You made the right call, and that was amazing. You mean... when you pushed him in the chase, you would have lost if you hadn't. That was a freaking fantastic run. Third place goes to Anatoly Sherbak, Moscow Nissan 200SX S14. The trophy and medal for third place are awarded by Stanislav Dolgich. Trophies above your heads, happy faces, and a round of applause. Honestly, you guys did very well. I actually predicted it, remember? When I said I wanted to see you two guys in a heat. I really wanted to see it, and you guys, I mean... I've already said this to Sergey, Both of you are starting to learn to control your aggression, finally. You know, this sort of deal, you've gotten a handle on it. And both of you have the results to show for it. Hats off to you guys. I think it's fair to say that we got what we wanted out of this event. We got a bunch of good runs in, a third-place finish, third in qualifying. There is, of course, room for improvement, but one of our goals was improving communication with Anatoly, to dial him back when necessary, and encourage him when he's a bit lethargic. So I'm happy, and I'm noticing that Anatoly is also pretty pumped.
How would you sum it up?
If you want to make changes to your car, do it. One issue is that we ordered some wheels prior to this event. Well, we actually ordered them a while ago. They were supposed to be delivered before the event, but they weren't. We could have coordinated delivery straight to Rostov, but all of us were like, screw it, and ultimately Anatoly lost in the top 4 because of a tire unseating. Because of us not replacing the wheels. We should have gotten that done. Perhaps it would have been a different outcome. But we decided that we're gonna take it easy. And that's the result. It was still a podium finish. It's nice that the 3 power steering pumps work. The car works. We wanted to test some settings and we did. It was terrific. Going back to Moscow. Okay, to recap our dyno session. Typically we come over, strap the car to the dyno, and after about 4 to 5 hours, we have a chart that we're satisfied with. Not the case this time around. For starters, we strapped in the red car, ran it up, and realized that we didn't have enough fuel. Seems like a straightforward problem. Either the pumps are underperforming or it's a wiring issue, and so we cracked open the fuel tank.
Dan, do you have any comment on the situation?
What a clusterfuck.
Why don't you tell us what happened?
We've identified the problem with the fuel system, and so while we were looking into that, we put the yellow car on the dyno. And we had a different issue with that one. During the preliminary tuning phase, the injectors dumped a bunch of fuel into the engine. No idea why or how, but it turned out that now we had 2 more liters of oil in the dry sump reservoir, or like 1.5, and while we were changing the oil and removing the fuel pump hanger, it got dark and we decided to pick this up the next morning. In the following morning, our laptop wouldn't connect to the ECU. We tried logging into the other car and were also unable to. In the end, we spent the entire day attempting to connect to one car, the other one. We had a bunch of different wires and laptops. We made numerous calls to some experts we know. None of the links we had were booting up, but then I brought over a third one that was for the Laurel, and now everything works. We still have no explanation as to what happened to the ECUs, because if it was just one car, we'd know that it's the wiring or something else like that. But since it happened to 2 cars at once, we are really scratching our heads. But the trouble wasn't over yet. We hooked up that link from the Laurel. It was online. But while we were tuning it, more fuel issues popped up. So our first crack at solving the issue failed. But okay, let's tune the yellow car then, with the same ECU. So we're tuning the ignition timing, and the angle is oscillating back and forth by 60 degrees. But the real headache was caused by the S15. After we replaced the fuel pump, the fuel pressure reg, and upgraded the fuel lines, installed some bigger ones for better flow and to keep the fuel cool. So after sorting the fuel system, we ran into a new issue on the S15, with the oil pressure this time, which wasn't going above 5 bar, 72 psi, which is really low. We thought we'd fix the problem by fitting a new Zippo oil pump, but that didn't make for any significant changes. Oil pressure was still 5 and change, which was not sufficient. And then we realized that the oil lines were too narrow. We were running -12 lines, while in other cars we'd usually run -16. The car had a standard reservoir, and we decided we'd use the lines that are for it, which proved to be a grave mistake. But thankfully it didn't cause any major damage. Anyway, we replaced all of the -12 lines with the -16s, and now the pressure was where we wanted it. Anatoly, he's not even requesting, he's demanding and constantly reminding me that he wants to try electric power steering. We probably will, we might even do some tuning, and figure out that it either works or it doesn't work. But we're gonna save that for the next episode.